Can you see me? Can you see me now? Can you see me? Do I look like Johnny Five yet? All right, we're gonna try this all over again. And I will erase the other one. Everything happens for a reason, right? Oh my god, it's so hot in here. I don't know how the hell you were at. Anyways, so yeah. Hi, it's Sherry. It's Sherry, yes, it is Sherry. With the Dear Dreamcatcher series. Okay. I don't know what is going on, but every now and then like the connection gets lost. So I'm going to try to do this letter for you. If it doesn't work again, I'm just going to go offline and I'll upload my own video separately on a different app and then I'll upload it that way. Okay? How's that sound? Okay, great. All right. So without further ado, a note beneath March's full worm moon. Yes, we're starting again. Do I take my glasses off this time? Blessings beneath the worm moon. I gave it two titles because it's a note beneath March's full worm moon, but it's also a blessing that has been hidden that we haven't been able to see yet. All right, so here we go. Dear Dreamcatcher, the worm moon rises on March 3rd, full at 6:38 a.m. in the sign of Virgo, bringing gentle whispers of awakening, balance, and new beginnings. Named for the first signs of spring, when the earth begins to thaw and life stirs beneath the soil, this moon reminds us that even in quiet stillness, growth is happening all around and within us. We're doing good so far. Oh my God. Do it this way, that way. I don't know. Do I turn it around? I am sweating. All right. There we go. So, Virgo's energy encourages reflection, mindfulness, and careful attention to the small but meaningful details of life. It's a time to release what no longer serves you, restore harmony in your heart and in your mind, and prepare for the new possibilities that await in the season ahead. There's quiet strength in steady, thoughtful action, and the worm moon offers the perfect light for introspection and renewal. I send you blessings beneath this moon. May its glow bring clarity to your thoughts, peace to your heart, and courage to step into new beginnings. May you find balance in your days, trust in your own rhythm, and feel the gentle unfolding of opportunities all around you. Let its light remind you that even the smallest steps of care, reflection, and release can grow into meaningful change. If you can step outside and feel its glow on your face, I'll be thinking of you under the same sky, sharing in the promise of renewal, gentle strength, and all the blessings this moon carries. I also wanted to share a note with you about the upcoming total lunar eclipse, which will also appear as a blood moon. There's something profoundly moving about a moon that turns deep red, a rare moment when the sky reminds us of the cycles of change, release, and transformation. Eclipses are powerful times for reflection, endings, and beginnings. As moon passes into Earth's shadow, it invites us to look inward, to notice what has been hidden, and to release what no longer serves us. The red glow of the blood moon carries intensity, passion, and the quiet power of transformation. It's as if the universe is offering a vivid signal to trust in your own resilience. During this eclipse, I know you'll take a moment to pause, breathe, and reflect on the patterns and intentions you want to carry forward. Let the deep red light remind you that endings are not losses, but opportunities to step into something new with awareness and courage. If you can, step outside and witness the spectacular moment. I'll be thinking of you under the same sky, feeling connected by the rare glowing light of the blood moon. Again, the worm moon will rise on Tuesday, March 3rd at 6:38 Eastern Standard Time in the sign of Virgo. It will also be called a blood moon because it will also be a total lunar eclipse. With love and blessings, your friend Sherry. Well, we got through the letter part. Now we're in the PS part. PS. How can it be both a worm moon and a blood moon, Sherry? Great question. Yes, a moon can have both a name, like the worm moon, and also be a blood moon during a total eclipse. Excuse me, lunar eclipse. They describe different aspects. One, the moon names like worm, wolf, snow, etc. I'm only going with those first three because we're only going with the first three moons that we've done letters on in 2026. Okay. These are traditional seasonal names that describe the time of year or seasonal characteristics. For example, the worm moon is the full moon in early March, named for the first signs of spring when worms start appearing in the thawing ground. 2. Blood moon. This describes the color the moon takes during a total lunar eclipse, when Earth passes directly between the sun and the moon. Sunlight bends through Earth's atmosphere and casts a reddish glow on the moon. So, if the March full moon, also known as the worm moon, happens to coincide with a total lunar eclipse, it can also be called a blood moon. In other words, worm moon tells you the season, blood moon describes what happens to its color during an eclipse. Oh, there's more. There's more. Would you like me to continue? All right. Hold on a second, because I only have my letter and the PS on paper, right? But let me try to read my notes here. My notes. Okay, transformation and renewal. Because worms live in the soil and help break down decay into fertile ground, they often symbolize rebirth, transformation, turning endings into new beginnings. Does anyone out there know what the word decay means? If you do, please include it into your social media answers. That would be wonderful. Like rotting decay. Oh my God. It's converting death into life. But spiritually, it can represent personal growth through difficult times. Okay. Humility and groundedness. Worms live close to the earth, unseen and uncelebrated. They can symbolize humility, modesty, staying grounded, quiet, and essential work. They remind us that even small, overlooked beings play a crucial role in sustaining life. Cycles of life and death, because worms thrive in soil and decomposition. You know what I mean. They're sometimes associated with the natural cycle of life and death, letting go, acceptance, and mortality. Rather than being negative, this symbolism often points to the beauty of natural cycles. In some myth and folklore, in certain traditions, worms and serpentine, like snakes, creatures, are linked to creation myths, primor. We love it how I try to sound shit. Oh, excuse my language. I want to say primal, but it's like primordial, like primordial, primordial earth energy. I'll have to, yeah, that's what I think it is. Hidden knowledge beneath the surface. For example, in Norse, Norse, I know it sounds like I'm saying North, but I'm saying Norse mythology, which retells ancient Norse legends. Serpentine and earthbound creatures often represent ancient foundational forces of the world. Norse legends. I would have to look that up because that sounds very interesting to me. I like mythology. Okay. I don't know why I'm thinking of like Scotland and stuff. Maybe because folklore. Contrast with the butterfly. So, if you prefer a metaphor, you could compare the worm to the butterfly. Before transformation, the caterpillar, a worm like creature, represents potential, a stage before becoming something visibly beautiful. That's a beautiful line. If you'd like to expand, a reminder of that, even decay feeds life. I like that line. A reminder that even decay feeds life. It said that's a beautiful line because I actually created it myself. So just so you know. Yeah, I am good for something. Here are a few ways I can express it further. Poetic. The worm is a quiet reminder that even decay feeds life. That what falls apart is not wasted, but transformed. Beneath the surface, in the dark places we rarely look, something humble is always turning endings into beginnings. Reflective. I've been thinking about how the worm lives where things break down, and yet it helps create new growth. It feels like a reminder that even our hardest seasons, the parts that seem like loss, can nourish something new within us. Simple and warm. The worm makes me think about how nothing is truly wasted. Even decay feeds life. We keep going back to that. Even the messy parts of our story can become soil for something better. Makes me think of like the grieving process and the cycle of life. When we look at slightly spiritual, the spirit of the worm teaches that life and death are not opposites but partners. What decays becomes nourishment. What ends becomes beginning. Even in darkness, something is quietly preparing the ground for light. The moon in Virgo, because this full moon is going to be in Virgo, is a beautiful grounded placement, especially symbolically. So in astrology, the moon represents emotions, inner world, instincts, how we nurture and need to be nurtured. And Virgo, it's about precision, service, healing, practical care, quiet improvement. So when the moon is in Virgo, the emotional tone becomes thoughtful, observant, and detail oriented. Emotional meaning of the moon in Virgo. Feelings are processed practically. Instead of dramatic expression, emotions are analyzed. A moon in Virgo person may ask, how do I fix this? Rather than, why is this happening to me? Love language equals acts of service. They show care by helping, organizing, fixing problems, remembering small details. It's quiet devotion, sensitive but controlled. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and we are in Mercury retrograde. It started on February 26th and it's going to go till March 20th, right? So it's sensitive, but it's controlled sensitive. Okay. The planet of thought and communication is Mercury, and it rules Virgo. And if it rules Virgo and the moon is in Virgo and we're in Mercury retrograde, the planet of thought and communication is going to be heightened. Okay. So emotions tend to move through the mind first before being expressed. So, for instance, all your emotions are going to be going through the brain before it can get to the mouth and out. Okay. Most of the time, we try to keep our emotions with our heart, right? Not during this total eclipse and full moon in Virgo. Nope, not the worm moon. Nope. It's changing it up a bit. So it's moving from the heart to the brain.
The Dave Chappelle special, where he mentioned the importance
Dave
of
Chappelle.
T.I.
Oh, geez. Dave Chappelle and T.I. over here. My shorts went on. Sorry. Let's see. So emotions tend to move through the mind first before being expressed. 4, healing and self-improvement energy. There's often a strong desire to be useful, improve oneself, and create order from chaos. Yeah, because I think right now, everything that's being hidden is coming to light and it's causing a lot of chaos and a lot of energy. And it's going to our brain so that our brain can transform it, right? So that we can heal it. We can create order from that chaos. We can improve ourselves. We can be useful. We want to take that energy, those emotions, right? We want to transform them, but we want to transform them for you, for a good use. Spiritually, Moon in Virgo can symbolize sacred attention to detail, emotional purification, finding peace through small daily rituals, grounding intuition. It's less about dramatic waves and more about the steady tides. I say it all the time. The ocean are our emotions, and the moon controls the tides, which therefore can control our emotions, right? So each full moon, I feel like we get an opportunity to grow. I feel like as human beings, we're natural beings. So yes, we have our animalistic side, but then we also have our plant side, right? If we're a plant and we're planting like seeds within ourselves that we want to grow. Do you understand what I'm saying? But sometimes we have to, like every new season, we have to weed out what no longer serves us in order to grow another layer or grow out of the soil. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's how I'm thinking of it. I'm like looking at worms. Like I always see worms like in the dirt or when it rains or they come out and then the birds come and feed on them or worms we use them to fish. But I think it's a good sign. We're going into spring. We just had a friggin' blizzard in the Northeast. You know, 4 feet of snow. I'm only 5 feet. So, yeah, I feel like we're going to start feeling more spring like within the next week or two. But, anyways, that's your letter, your note beneath March's full worm moon, or you can look at it as blessings beneath the worm moon. And I'll see you next month. Actually, the end of March, because I'll want to get it out before April 1st, which is my daughter's birthday. She's an April Fool's baby. So I'm trying to get the letters out a couple of days before the full moon to give you some ideas and inspiration for the moon, the full moon when it happens. It's like catching a wave, right? All right. See you later. Thanks.